Hello, so this presentation is about relationship-based practice. The theoretical approaches that have influenced the writing about relationship-based practice come from a whole range of places, and you will learn more about the theoretical roots as you go through your course. So I'm just going to give a nod to those now and then pick out the key principles really. Because obviously in terms of what we're going to be doing in your skills module, relationships are really important and are one of the three key areas which will be assessed on in terms of your portfolio. So in terms of the roots, these are some of the roots. So as I've said, you will learn much more about these theoretical positions as you go through the programme. But the key things to remember is that psychodynamic and psychosocial approaches focus on the importance, the significance, and attachment as well actually, the significance of past experiences. That this idea that your past experiences will affect your current behaviour and attitudes, and that this isn't always a conscious thing. The suggestion is here that these feelings are played out in all our relationships. Therefore, we will have conscious and unconscious behaviours and attitudes in our professional relationships as well. So that's really fundamental. So that's one of the key things to remember about relationship-based approaches. So it's this idea that from the psychosocial model that there's an interrelation of social factors and individual thoughts and behaviours. Recognising that everyone is unique, so you are unique and every person that you work with is unique and every relationship is unique as well. So when we're entering relationships with people who use services, we have to recognise that there are two elements within that relationship. There's the social worker, i.e. you, and the person that you're working with. There might be others as well, but if you're working on a one-to-one basis, there are two elements within that relationship. So the other thing that relationship-based practice stresses is that power dynamics are inherent, so they are a part of all relationships, and particularly in our relationships with the people who access services. And so this idea of partnership and empowerment is fundamental as somebody working in a profession with vulnerable people. That we need to be sensitive to ideas about partnership and empowerment, and you'll learn much more about those in this module but also in your values and ethics module. The other key element that is stressed is the importance or the significance of anxiety. So if we think about the influence of emotion to our work, anxiety is really important. So it is a primitive emotional response to distressing and uncertain situations. So recognising that social work relationships often exist at times of crisis or distress. And it's recognising that primitive emotion of anxiety will certainly be present for the people that we work with most times, but also there will be lots of times where anxiety is an emotional response that we as practitioners have. To varying degrees, but certainly for myself, anxiety was quite a significant part of my practice, particularly in the early days when you're unsure of what's expected of you and you're still learning. So this idea of anxiety is really important. The other key principle I want to introduce you to is this recognition that the social work relationship has a beginning, a middle and an end. And that's really, really important, because what's needed at the beginning of a relationship is very different to what is needed in the middle and at the end. So working in a relationship-based practice way means that we as practitioners need to recognise what we need to do, how we need to be, and how we need to manage those different phases of the relationship. And we'll think a little bit more about that as we go through the module. So relationship-based practice is a thoughtful stance which suggests that the relationship itself has therapeutic value without anything fancy being done. So not underestimating the importance of a really, really positive relationship where somebody feels understood and supported and safe. So no matter what you end up doing within your work with a particular individual, the professional relationship is integral to that. So there's a strong emphasis on the importance of the use of self, which we will pick up regularly within the module, and reflective practice.